Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee with the Fantasy Football Consultants. I'm back. Yes, I will be your host not only for week three, but for the rest of the season for the DFS show. All the reasons we'll put in the comment section. We want to get straight to week three, giving our full cash lineups for DraftKings and FanDuel. But before we do, I think we need to talk about last week and do a little bragging about how we did. If you look at our week two FanDuel cash lineup that we put on YouTube last week, did pretty well. Out of 100 people in our 50-50 contest, we finished seventh, and that's with Derrick Henry absolutely bombing. And in DraftKings, we did even better. Out of 100 people, we finished second. So let's take a quick moment to analyze this. We really took advantage of Matt Jones' cheap salary with Brock Purdy unexpectedly not able to play. And it allowed us to pay up for some real superstars who all came through. Yes, Christian McCaffrey, but really in a PPR format, Jamar Chase and Malik Neighbors were absolute studs, and that led to the high 180 point outing. Let's see if we can duplicate it. Quick milestone we reached here at the FFC. We reached 1 million views. And on behalf of everyone here at the Fantasy Football Consultants who's ever appeared on the channel, thank you so much for your support over the years. It's truly appreciated. All right, let's first go in the DraftKings and later FanDuel to do a week three cash lineup. All right, everybody, let's start in Minnesota where we had two injuries that happened after the salaries were set. Running back Aaron Jones and quarterback J.J. McCarthy, which gives huge bargains to Wentz and Mason. So look, hey, this is not a bad game environment. Minnesota is a home favorite, reasonable 23 implied total, and to spend only $9,400 on their quarterback and starting running back should be a bell cow. I love this. Wentz has some nice weapons between Jefferson and Addison and Hodkins to throw to. And it's not like the Cincinnati defense is one that really scares me. All right, from there, since we save so much money, we can get some real superstars in our lineup. Once again, let's bring Christian McCaffrey, who is a PPR stud. And again, no Kittle, no Brandon Ayuk. Granted, no Brock Purdy, but I think the Big Mac is going to be just fine throwing dump-off passes to him. So we get McCaffrey in the lineup, and we get Bijan Robinson in the lineup, who Carolina is not a good defense, and they cannot stop the run. So from a game script perspective, even though this is in Carolina, I think that Bijan Robinson should be ahead. And look how they leaned on Bijan Robinson when they were ahead against Minnesota. 22 carries, a total of 25 touches. We're looking for more of the same here, playing a much worse than Minnesota Carolina team. Alrighty, now let's move the wide receiver and get two absolute studs, target monsters, which is great for PPR. Jackson Smith Najigba, clearly the number one guy in Seattle, and Puka Nacua. Look at those receptions, an average of 9 per game. That's a free 9 points in PPR. This is all made possible by sneaking in some bargains at wide receiver and tight end. Don't look now, but Troy Franklin, the second-year wide receiver, is establishing himself as Bo Nix's number 2 option. Not just number 2 wide receiver, but ahead of guys like Evan Ingram and Marvin Mims. Only behind Cortland Sutton, even though he targeted Cortland Sutton last week. I don't think that you can expect that. I love this bargain at only $4,000 for Troy Franklin. And then finally, Juwan Johnson. I'm a believer, folks. As long as the Saints are coming from behind and have to throw the ball, they're going to lean on their tight end. It's obviously that Johnson is Spencer Rattler's security blanket. And Rattler has been better than advertises are expected, at least by me. So I like this. There's 7.5 point dogs at Seattle. So I would think from a game script perspective, they're going to have to throw the ball again. 9 targets and 12 targets in the first 2 weeks is great, given his only $3,900 price. Uh, Kind of a punt defense with the Raiders. I want to talk about a couple of pivot plays at wide receiver at reasonable prices. Two guys I want you to think about at $5,300. Adunze, number one wide receiver on the Chicago Bears, facing a Dallas Cowboys team that has not been successful at stopping anybody this year. They're 31st against wide receivers. So he's a guy who's averaged 10 targets a game. So you can get him in there. And the other guy at $5,000 you can consider is Juwan Jennings. They got to make sure he's healthy. He has a questionable tag. But because Brandon Ayuk is still out, and because George Kittle is out, and most importantly, they play the Arizona Cardinals, who were about decimated last week with injuries in their secondary. Really like this option at only $5,000. Finally, a tight end. If you're not feeling Juwan Johnson like I am, there are two other great options that are only slightly more expensive. It's all about the Tylers, folks. How about Tyler Kraft at $4,700 and Tyler Warren at $4,400? Both have reasonable game scripts and reasonable implied totals. And these guys are receiving regular targets from their quarterback. All right, that's our DraftKings lineup. Let's move over to FanDuel. All right, everybody, let's take a look at our FanDuel lineup. Like in DraftKings, we're going to take advantage of the relative bargain of Jordan Mason. They did not know that Aaron Jones would be out when they made his salary. And let's get Christian McCaffrey in the lineup. Again, partially because of the lack of weapons that the San Francisco 49ers have with Ayuk and George Kittle out. They're going to rely once again on McCaffrey. This allows us to do some interesting things. Let's get two absolute studs in this lineup in Bucky Irving as the bell cow back at home. Good implied total, good game script. They should crush the New York Jets. A Jets defense that has given up a lot of yards and a lot of points in the first 2 weeks. And meanwhile, CeeDee Lamb at $8,800 is really their best weapon on this Dallas offense. He just hasn't hit the end zone yet this year. You know it's coming, and I think it's this week. On the other side of the ball, let's get Caleb Williams. I've already commented without Micah Parsons. The Dallas defense has definitely struggled at times this year. The Giants, Russell Wilson threw all over them. So let's see what Caleb Williams can do. What I want to point about Caleb Williams is I like the fact he's continuing to use his legs to supplement his passing game. 6 rushes in week 1, 5 rushes in last week, and he's very reasonably priced on FanDuel at $7,100. Let's round out the rest of our receiving core with number one wide receiver on the Jets, Garrett Wilson. Not sure who his quarterback's going to be. In concussion protocol is Justin Fields, but they have a very capable backup in Tyrod Taylor. Either guy should be looking Garrett Wilson's way. And how about the rookie, Emeka Egbuka? He's facing a Jet defense that, has really struggled against the pass in this early season. And he's someone I think Baker Mayfield will be looking his way. And rounding our lineup is a couple of punt plays, Zach Ertz and the Jacksonville defense. Just letting you know, one thing about Zach Ertz is he was targeted a lot last week when they were coming from behind. Now, they are at home against Las Vegas. So if you think that they're going to get ahead and play a more conservative game plan, Ertz is at $5,300. You can go up to like a Tyler Warren at only $300 more. And that's who I would look at upgrading to if you would like to do that. And you would just have to downgrade at defense, um, probably all the way down to either the Cleveland Browns or the Carolina Panthers. So that's a good pivot for you. You can go Ertz in Jacksonville, or you can go Tyler Warren and say the Cleveland Browns defense. All right, everybody, that's our week 3 lineup. Please put in the comment section who your favorite week 1 main slate on DraftKings or FanDuel is. Smash that like button and hit that red subscribe button. And I'm also interested in hearing what you guys think of our condensed format that I lead you through, going through these full lineups, but at recordly fast pace, so we can keep it a real tight show. All right, everybody, I wish everyone a great week. Once again, thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.